The Voiceover Doctor presents Margaritas, Mojitos, and Microfones. Viva el Voiceover Doctor.
It sounds like sniffing, but you're just kind of sucking water up the roof of your mouth. And nothing came through the nose. It's just all sucking up on the roof of your mouth. So that's a super good trick. Say you're cold, you don't want to break your teeth, because at my age they just break. So the wooden pencil, your enamel is definitely stronger than this. So I wouldn't use a metal pen necessarily, but the wooden pencil works good. It's so cold in here. And it reads like teeth chattering. So that's a nice little trick if you don't know it. Let's see, the drowning, when you come up out of the water, like say you fell in and you had to come up out of the water. Or sometimes even like leaving some in your mouth, you can give the gargle at the top. As long as it sounds really, really wet.
If you don't have a microphone at home, get one. If you don't have a computer that has some type of simple program like Audacity, it's like free. You've got to practice it all the time because you are competing against ninjas. You're competing against actors that don't even have headshots. All they have is their voice, and that's all they do.
Anyone who goes and auditions for this is gonna read what's on the page. If you're gonna book this, you're gonna give me a lot of pre-life, and you're gonna give me giggles, and do things with it that are more than what the words are on the page.
Take the beats in between.
Okay.
What's going on if you were in this situation? You've got a mic, right? You've got this radio. You're looking around. Take your time. Grab that. Maybe quiet yourself down. You know what I mean? Really find these moments, find these beats, because not everybody's going to be telling you all this stuff. They're going to expect you to bring it.
In the animation, the funny is the switch, is the 180. And we're always looking for that 180 in the animation. So it's, see, it says I'm going to get bigger. It says it right there. Can we get started? So whole flip right there, okay? If it's commercial, you stick to the script, but you can make it so different from the script by just your pre-life, your post-life, your guffaws, all your laughs, all that stuff in between, the stutters. You can change that script so it won't sound like anybody else's read, and you still stuck to the letter.
As a guy who makes demos, people would come to me and say, what do you charge for each? And I'm like, I don't know, aren't they?
Double.
Aren't they kind of the same? I mean, they seem the same to me, so you're a director.
You know,
so.
I agree. You know, I hear this stuff. I mean, I guess, you know, it depends on the animation. If it's like, you know, you're doing squeaky little voices or something like that, where it's like the cute characters, but your gaming is like more hardcore. I don't know.
Maybe,
I guess, you know, maybe there's a difference there, but in general, it's, you know, I don't know.
Kind of the same
much
thing.
a difference.
Well, of course, I'll read the whole thing first. As I'm going, I might highlight my part or come back and highlight my part after, and then I'll take my pencil and I'll go through and I'll think of things that I can add to the line that, you know, they may make me stick to the letter of the script, or I can add funny things, and I'm not Danny Man, I can't think of funny things like that.
Danny Man.
So I have to think of funny things like in my own brainstorm session in the quiet and put those things in. I do read it by myself alone, because if there's things like, I know a lot of the Jimmy Neutron scripts had big words, like, you know, dinosaur words and Paleolithic eras and things. A lot of words I wouldn't maybe be able to say. If there's questions at that point, you want to make sure you know how to pronounce every word in the script. And if there's some tongue twisters, that's the time you want to go and do your practicing on it to make sure that you don't screw up in session on it, because sometimes you may not think it's going to be challenging, but they might have like 2 consonants before a vowel, and that screws you up. So that's pretty much my method. And then hopefully when I get to the session, it'll be the same script, and I'll say if there's no changes, I can use the one I've already written on. If not, I'll have to go through each page and transfer.
Well, again, it depends on the game. Sometimes they'll be very specific. They'll say we need a sound alike for this, or we, you know, and sometimes games are so huge that there's like, we're not sure. So you're kind of just talking to agents and you're thinking of people you know and saying, well, bring this person in for this, bring this person in for that, and you get a general description of some of the characters. Some are very specific. Most of the leads, of course, are very specific. So you put that out there. You talk to the agents of the specific people you like, but I also like to give the agents some leeway and say, bring in who you like for this and that, because especially if we're doing agent auditions, it just takes a few more moments of my time to listen to stuff. So once I start getting that and compiling from all the agents I work with, I start going through this, and it's not always just about the sound, it's about the interpretation of the lines. It's really, and I was talking to some people about really, you know, these lines are important to the people who are writing them, and there's a reason for these lines. So it's about really script interpretation first, and the performance, and sometimes the voice might not be exactly the sound, but if the interpretation and the performance is great, okay, let's maybe see what that's like. You know, let's maybe put that forward. And I always kind of bracket the people that I like for the client, so I'm not just holding them to something. I'll say, you know what, here's something a little bit out this way, and here's something a little bit out this way. These other ones, right on the nose.
I was a pre-med at UCLA. I've been playing guitar since I was 9. I've been writing songs since I was 9. I finished college and
So you were like the singing doctor?
A singing doctor.
Yeah.
I was ready to go to medical school
Yeah.
and decided to not, and I went to Nashville.
Really?
And I stayed there for a few years and tried to be a country singer, and the only jobs I got were doing jingles as a baby's voice. I had a pretty decent demo going at the time. There's lots of details in there, but basically I sent the demo to Ginny McSwain and Sue Blue, and they said, great, move back home if you want to work, so I did, and Ginny called ICM and I signed with them and started working the next week.
My favorite people to work with are singers, because they have great mic control, they have breath control, they can do so many different things.
And I can follow your line read like nothing else.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. If you give us a singer a line read, though.
Yeah.
So on
Not that non-singers can't do it well, but singers, I think most of the
well,
successful
you hear the
people,
rhythm of the line, and
well, it is
I
singing.
agree.
Talking is singing.
But I agree. I mean, again, I make demos, so there are people who.
But do you make demos?
Yeah, I do. But the singing, well, because people ask me all the time, should I put
I was
singing on it,
asking
and should I put singing on it, not?
I think you should.
I'm never quite sure what to tell them,
I guess
because
if it's 4 or 5 seconds or something,
Yeah,
I'll just
at
hold
the
in the
most.
note or
just to
something.
say, yeah.
You know, in between stuff, why not? It's a bridging 2 different styles.
You know, a whole song, no.
And on that note,
Okay, good night.
Debbie DerryBerry!